Are you traveling back to the USA anytime soon and you'll be flying from the Philippines? Watch this video and find out more details about what travel documents or what are the requirements that will be asked from you. Hi everyone and welcome to Jamey Iris TALK TV, where we talk, discuss, and chat about the relevant information about travel guidelines, travel protocols, and other relevant information that is happening in and out of the Philippines. My name is Jamey and I am your TV host. I will be bringing to you the information or different topics that you need that will give you information so that you can prepare as you fly back to the USA. And before I share to you what are the topics that we will be discussing, I simply want to say welcome to each and everyone who are watching this video right now. To all our subscribers, welcome back. And if this is your first time to actually watch and join us in this channel, I simply want to say welcome, and I'm inviting you to subscribe to my channel so that you will be updated with the videos that I upload every day for all of you. And with that, everyone, so let us just take a look. What are the topics that we will be discussing for this specific episode? So it's all about what you need when you fly back to the USA. Now, for this video, we will be focusing on the travel documents and other relevant information that you need to know before you fly to the USA. And I'll have another video that will give you some tips that I got from some of my friends from the USA regarding, for example, the swab testing, either pre-departure and upon coming back. I have some tips that they had given me, and they told me that I could definitely share it to you because they use it themselves. So I'll share that in another video. But for the meantime, we'll focus on the travel documents that will be required from you and other requirements that the USA is actually requiring from any travelers who will enter their country. For today's topic, we will be discussing number one, who are allowed to travel to the USA or who are allowed to enter the country. Number two, who are the exempted unvaccinated travelers? Number three, what are the medical requirements and travel documents that will be required and expected from all of you? And number four, what are the accepted vaccines, proof of vaccination, COVID-19 testing, procedure, and quarantine requirements? So all of those we will be discussing today. First one, we have the fully vaccinated and unvaccinated U.S. citizen, U.S. nationals, lawful permanent residents, and immigrants. Now, number two, fully vaccinated non-U.S. citizen and non-U.S. immigrant. And number three, exempted unvaccinated non-U.S. citizen and non-U.S. immigrant. Now, please take note, unvaccinated non-U.S. citizens and non-U.S. immigrants are not allowed entry into the United States unless exempted. Now, what are the categories of non-citizen, non-immigrants that meet the criteria for an exemption under the proclamation and CDC's order, which includes the following? Now, our source is www.cdc.com. So, for your reference, everyone, so here are the categories of non-citizen, non-immigrants that meet the criteria for an exemption under the proclamation and CDC's order include. Now, persons on diplomatic or official foreign government travel. Number two, child 2 to 17 years of age. Number three, participants in certain COVID-19 vaccine trials. Number four, persons with documented medical contraindications to receive a COVID-19 vaccine. Number five, humanitarian or emergency exception and document by an official U.S. government letter. Number six, valid non-immigrant visa holder excluding B1 or B2 and citizens of a foreign country with limited COVID-19 vaccine availability. Number seven, member of the U.S. Armed Forces or spouse of child under 18 years of age. And then we also have the next one, the C crew members traveling pursuant to a C1ND non-immigrant visa. And last but not the least, person whose entry is in the U.S. national interest as determined by the Secretary of the State, the Secretary of Transportation, the Secretary of Homeland Security. Now, if you travel by air to the United States, one of this exception, you will be required to attest that you are exempted from the requirement to present proof of being fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Now, based on the category of the exception, you may further be required to attest that number 1, you will be tested with a COVID-19 viral test 3 to 5 days after arrival in the United States unless you have documentation of having recovered from COVID-19 in the past 90 days. Number 2, you will be self-quarantined for a full 17 days, even if the test result to the post-arrival viral test is negative unless you have documentation of having fully recovered from the COVID-19 in the past 90 days. And you will self-isolate if the result of the post-arrival test is positive or if you develop COVID-19 symptoms. Now, remember everyone, based on the category of the exception, if you intend to stay in the United States for longer than 60 days, you may additionally be required to attest that. Again, number 1, you agree to be vaccinated against COVID-19, and the second, you have arranged to become fully vaccinated against COVID-19 within 60 days of arriving in the United States or as soon as thereafter as is medically appropriate. Now, a parent or other authorized person should attest on behalf of a passenger under 18 years of age. An authorized person may attest on behalf of any passengers who is unable to sign their own attestation. Example, because they are too young or because of physical or mental impairment. Now remember, children under 2 years of age, they do not need to complete an attestation. Now, as required by the United States federal law, all airlines or other aircraft operators will operate and collect the passenger attestation on behalf of the U.S. government. Now, let us get to know what are the general requirements. Usually we have two. The first one will be the medical documents, and then the other one will be the travel documents. Now let us first discuss the medical documents. Now, as per the Philippine Airlines again.com, now they've mentioned anyone who's flying to Guam, Hawaii, and the USA mainland, here are the requirements. Now, for medical documents, number 1, we have the recognized proof of vaccination. Now again, exemption, U.S. citizen, U.S. permanent residents are exempted from COVID-19 vaccination requirement, but you should have a negative RT-PCR or rapid antigen test 1 day before your flight. Now, you are considered fully vaccinated like 2 weeks or 14 days after your dose of an exempted single-dose vaccine or second dose of an exempted 2-dose series. Now, a person who has received only 1 dose of an exempted 2-dose series and has recovered from COVID-19 does not meet this definition and therefore is not considered fully vaccinated for travel to the United States. Now, speaking of that, what are the accepted COVID-19 vaccines? Now, according to the CDC website, that's www.cdc.gov, now only accepted vaccines by the US CDC shall be the following: J&J, Pfizer BioNTech, Moderna, AstraZeneca, Covaxin, Covishield, Sinopharm, Sinovac, Novavax, and Covovax. Now, how about the acceptable proof of COVID-19 vaccination? Now, verifiable records or digital, whether digital or paper. Now, vaccination certificate with QR code, digital pass via smartphone application with QR code. Now, how about the non-verifiable paper records? Now, a printout of COVID-19 vaccination record or a COVID-19 vaccination certificate issued at a national or subnational level or by an authorized vaccine provider. Now, another one is non-verifiable digital records. Now, digital photos of vaccination card or record, download vaccine record or vaccination certificate from the official source or a mobile application without any QR code. So these are the acceptable proof of COVID-19 vaccination. Now, international travelers who are fully vaccinated against COVID-19 that are required by the country or destination or principal or employer to present a proof of COVID-19 vaccination may, number one, request for an international certificate of vaccination or ICV from the Bureau of Quarantine to book an appointment. So you simply have to go to www.icv.poq.ph. Again, everyone, for this one, usually these are for people who got vaccinated here in the Philippines. So it means that you can request a yellow booklet or the WHO ICV here from the Philippines. However, for those who were not vaccinated in the Philippines, so you have to request prior flying actually to the Philippines from the country where you got vaccinated from. Number two, request for a digital proof of vaccination from the VaxCert.ph portal. Fully vaccinated travelers may generate their own vaccination certificate by logging on to https://vaxcert.doh.gov.ph. Now let us take a look. The negative COVID-19 test, RT-PCR or antigen swab test. Now, please take note, result from any DOH accredited laboratories taken 1 day prior to departure. Now, at this time, all air passengers ages 2 or older, regardless of citizenship or vaccination status, must show a negative result of a COVID-19 viral test or documentation of recovery from COVID-19 before they actually board the flight to the United States. And the next one, documentation of recovery. Now, this includes a positive test result and a signed letter from a healthcare provider. This is if a traveler had a positive viral test on a sample collected during the past 90 days and met the criteria to end an isolation. And of course, last, documentation if travelers is unable to get vaccinated due to medical reasons. Now, exemption. The following groups of individuals, to the extent that they were physically present in Ukraine or of February 10, 2022, not be required to present a negative COVID-19 test result effectively immediately until April 1, 2022. Now, U.S. citizens, lawful permanent residents, non-citizens in possession of a valid U.S. immigrant visa, as well as non-citizen non-immigrants who are traveling with a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident and possess valid travel documents allowing them to travel to the United States. So those are the medical requirements or documents required from you. Now, how about the travel documents? Now, number one, attestation to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So, the form must be downloaded, printed, and signed upon check-in at the airport. Now, this is from, again, the CDC website. Now, how about the PAL Passenger Information Form or the PAL Partner Laboratory ECIF form? Please take note, Passenger Information Form or the PAL passengers departing from the Philippines who will not get tested with any of the PAL's testing center. Please fill out this form as early as 24 hours before your flight. On the other hand, everyone, PAL Partner Laboratories ECIF form, PA Passenger Health and Declaration form. Now, passengers pre-registration before departing the Philippines, please fill this out as early as 5 days prior to your departure. Now, let's take a look. the Philippines Bureau of Immigration Declaration Form. Now, the U.S. state or county or city health declaration form, if required by the state or country or city, all persons are required to fill out a health declaration form upon entry to Guam. Those who are subject to quarantine restrictions are required to sign a voluntary quarantine acknowledgement. Persons who choose not to sign will be subject to involuntary quarantine. Now, travel and health insurance, please make sure that you check it as required. So everyone, those are the basic information regarding the Bureau of Immigration Declaration Form. Now, an additional travel document for exempted unvaccinated non-U.S. citizen or non-U.S. immigrant. Now, documentation that the traveler is exempted from the COVID-19 vaccination requirement. Now, let us just take a look. Once you actually arrive in the USA, what are the quarantine requirements? Now, quarantine is no longer required for fully vaccinated travelers, but the US CDC recommends that all its travelers stay home and quarantine for a full 7 days after arrival. Now, the unvaccinated exempted travelers must get tested with a viral test 3 to 5 days after arrival and quarantine for a full 7 days at home or at a hotel, even if the test result is negative. Now, for Guam in the United States, travelers are subject to a 10-day quarantine period at a Government of Guam Quarantine Facility, QFAC, except those qualified for exemption. Now, travelers subject to quarantine must sign a voluntary quarantine acknowledgement form. Now, quarantine is no longer required for the following: fully vaccinated travelers, travelers with negative COVID-19 RT-PCR test or antigen result, and last but not the least, individuals who have contracted and recovered from COVID-19 within 3 months preceding their arrival in Guam and who show no symptoms of COVID-19 infection. So those are the basic information. Everyone, when it comes to what do you need to prepare before you fly back to the USA. I hope you find this video very helpful and informative. If so, please click like, and I'm inviting you to please subscribe to my channel so that you'll get updated every day with new and latest videos that will be very helpful and informative for you. And by the way, everyone, I simply want to say, please watch out for my other videos that will give you further tools and at the same time information regarding your travel back to the USA. And for others who are watching, now how about our country, Miss Jamey? So slowly we are actually taking a look at the requirements for departure from other countries as well. So once again, everyone, this is Jamey Iris of Jamey Iris Talk TV, simply saying stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see you in my next video. Have a great flight for those who will be flying very soon. See you, everyone.